to episode 71 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
So, King Kong. King Kong is king. Uh, Finally came out, and it was kind of a refreshing to see Kong after all this time because I think the last time was Peter Jackson's version, and he's just so gaga over King Kong that I don't know. The story and everything was kind of weak in that movie. The technology was awesome, but the story was kind of weak, and I think it's because he was just too close to the project. But that's a different Kong movie. Kong Skull Island. That's what we're here to talk about. And we could just go into initial reactions, and then, or unless you want to do the boring stuff first. But
Nah, let's just not even talk about that. Let's just talk about well, we're recording this so early that there's really nothing. We don't have too much about it. So other than it's like what 79% or 80% of Rotten Tomatoes. So let's just give your initial reaction first.
So my initial reaction was, I liked it better than the. I mean, if we're going to compare it to the old other King Kong, I liked it better. Still, I don't think they've captured Kong the way like the 1933 one did, or even the one with I think Jessica Lange. There's just something about it. I don't know. I think the technology was really good, but I just felt like it just again, it's that heart. There's just something missing in these huge, big event type movies. Now, saying that, I actually was pretty like entertained by the movie. I thought, you know, at least the visuals or whatever were entertaining to me. And some of the characters, I think this type of movie where you don't know any of the characters, that any of them can die or whatever at any time. Spoiler. Um, I like that aspect of it, like the thrilling aspect. You have no idea at any time if anyone's going to be dying and whatnot. And there's a lot of deaths. But
Mm.
I guess if I could just I don't know, I guess a little tighter here, put it in a nutshell. I was entertained by it, but it by no means was like this amazing, awesome, holy shit movie. I didn't have any holy shit moments like I did Logan. So it was just kind of like kick back, turn your brain off, and watch this thing. And so yeah, I mean, later on I'll give my ratings for it, but I think it was okay. It was just a kind of a little bit of a thrill ride, but nothing really to brag about or anything, or blown away or anything like that. What about you? What was your initial reaction?
I really loved this movie. I was high up on Godzilla, the Gareth Edwards remake, because he had tried or attempted to make you care about the human characters. In this one, I felt like they did a much better job with the human characters.
Mm-hmm.
I cared more. I liked, obviously, when you get quality actors, Goodman, Riley, Jackson, Hiddleston, Brie Larson, like you're gonna get, you're gonna be able to have scenes that other actors won't be able to carry. So, as far as the human cast goes, I was really not surprised, but I was pleased with it because it made me actually give a shit about what was going on the screen when Kong wasn't, fucking doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that. I think for plot wise and story wise, I loved that you got to see Kong like clear cut in the first like half hour, and I mean it doesn't stop after that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that Kong does is fucking awesome. Um, I really love this movie. I liked it a lot better than the Godzilla one, and it's probably one of my favorite big monster movies because I wasn't bored at all throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you go see these movies or growing up watching Godzilla, on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, I didn't care what the Japanese characters were doing. I just wanted them to stop talking so I could see Godzilla do something. Even though it's a guy in a giant rubber suit, I still wanted to see Godzilla do shit. But in this one, like I cared what was going on both ends, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of creepy moments in here as far as like jump parts in it. So
Mm.
I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, the lizards, the big lizards, which ultimately, I mean, they kind of look like what Godzilla. Well, Godzilla would look like if one of those things got fully grown. I guess is what they were hinting at. Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with everything you just said. Um,
But you didn't love it.
no, I didn't love it. I didn't. I still think they're having a hard time kind of cracking the code. I think this is the best that they've done. I totally give them that. I thought this was way better than Godzilla. Godzilla had way too many problems and plot holes and so much stuff going on that it took me out of the movie, especially killing Bryan Cranston off so quickly, which was, I thought, ridiculous. He was like the most strongest human character there. But
Yeah.
and yeah, that movie's got a lot of issues. But this movie definitely, as far as like monster movies go, is right up there. I mean, it's one of the best for sure. Um, I don't know. There's just something about these big budget movies that I have a really hard time with. At least with this one, they put it in in a setting that made his size and everything just really realistic. Like it really felt like he existed. Kong did, and I really liked that. And the lizard creatures were, fairly. They were done pretty well. Um, but there's just I don't know, like I just can't explain it. And then when Philip C. Riley or John C. Riley comes out, they injected some humor in it, and a couple times I actually giggled at the stuff he's saying. But otherwise, I was like, this character's kind of like out of place a little bit. It felt like he was just way too goofy.
I felt like it. I felt like it kind of worked. I mean, him surviving that island for that long, is pretty unbelievable in a movie where there's a 60-foot gorilla. But like I liked his character. I liked what. Yes, he was like the comedy relief in the movie, but it didn't seem too forced. Basically, it would be like if you were stuck on an island for 40 years, or in that case 20 years or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
What
You probably go a little crazy too, and he played crazy pretty well.
what also I thought was what was really interesting. They don't usually do stuff like this, but there was so just spoilers. We're going to go into spoiler territory. So they're all in the helicopters and they go through the that storm and they pop out the other side, which was gorgeous actually. When they popped out, I was like, whoa, shit! Like felt like you were in Oz or something like that. And
Mhm.
and then immediately they're like, "Is that an ape?" And the ape just like beats the shit out of the helicopters. And of course, one of my biggest gripes about the Godzilla movie, um, and this movie is like, you're in a fucking helicopter. Why can't you just go up? Like, just go really high. Instead, it's like they just stay
Right.
at one level and they're shooting at it. They're not doing anything. It's kicking ass. By that time, I'd be like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's just fly high. So
Well, they actually kind of explain that in the movie. It's kind of funny that you said that
yeah.
because the one guy who ends up trying to sacrifice himself at the end of the movie, but instead the monster kicks him over into the mountain instead of eating him.
Oh god, that was hilarious. I actually laughed at that.
Um, he says that like right after the crash or whatever, like how can he be? Remember I forget the black dude's name, but he says to him like, how could you be eating? Like, how do you have an appetite? He's like, look, man, like we did the best we could with what we've never seen before. And he like actually explains like how stupid their maneuvers were. Like to like your point that it bothers the shit out of you. Like he flat out says it. Like
They're
what are
too
we gonna
much in
do?
awe.
Like we've
They're
never
just
seen a
like
fucking
they're way too much in
yeah.
awe.
They're just like holy fuck, and they're just like let's just attack it. Head on. Let's attack it and see what happens. And clearly, by the time like they realize their guns aren't fucking doing anything, it's too late.
Yeah. So
So I mean,
so all
it's funny that you bring that up. It's funny that you bring that up, and they actually say it in the movie.
so all the helicopters they crash, and well, some of them blew up and died, and some crashed, and there was one guy that was the only survivor out of his helicopter, and I thought it was a really interesting choice to follow him once in a while. You followed him to see like because they're all trying to converge and meet up with each other because they're well. Actually, one group is trying to go to the exit point, and the other group with Sam Jackson's like, no, we can't leave this man behind. We need to go get him first, and then we'll get out of here. So the man who's by himself, you follow him for a while, and you kind of think, as a moviegoer, you're like, oh, eventually he's going to make it back to the camp, or they're all going to meet, and some shit's going to happen. But that never happens. Like he gets eaten. Like you see him by himself a few times, and one of the times you see, which was one of the best parts of the movie, 'cause it was awesome, was when he's like sitting there, he's drinking water or whatever, and you see Kong come out of nowhere, just walking around. He's like the protector of the island.
Oh, right.
And then this
Yeah, yeah,
octopus like thing starts grabbing his leg and he's like fighting it. And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then it just
yeah,
like it rips the arms off and just starts eating it like it's sushi, and then it just like walks away. And I was like, oh my God, that
yeah,
was so fucking cool. But then the guy, like, he ends up in this other area, and one of those lizard things just pops out of nowhere and then just eats him. And you're like, oh
yeah.
shit, like, he never makes it back. That sucks.
There's a lot of deaths in this movie where
Like, holy shit, death
you know what
moments.
yeah, like I didn't see that coming, but again, back to what I said from my initial reaction was that they did a really good job in the first half hour giving everybody some kind of uh character.
Yeah.
You like you felt for the guy who was trying to kill the thing at the end that got, whiplashed into the mountain, and the guy that was always trying to write a letter to his son,
Yeah.
Dear Billy, was an ongoing thing. Like you felt for it, like when they all died, and it was like, and I'm sitting in the theater, and I got to see this in IMAX, which is I recommend to anybody go see this movie in IMAX, um, not Fomax, real IMAX. Um, so I'm sitting here looking at these deaths. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. And I'm like, oh my god, I actually give a shit. Like, who's dying here? Because they did a pretty decent job, like establishing each person, of the army. When they start getting picked off one by one, you're like, oh man, that really sucks. So kudos to the writers and the director for making people actually matter in these giant monster movies.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like James Cameron's, Aliens. They establish all those characters, and you start feeling bad when they once they start getting picked off. You're like, oh, not
Right.
that guy. Ah, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as like the cast is concerned, I want them to put Tom Hiddleston in everything. That dude is just like,
That's my biggest gripe
uh,
of this movie.
oh,
That's my one biggest gripe, that it not
really?
Hiddleston, not the fact that Hiddleston's in it. Well, actually, it is the fact that Hiddleston's in it because it takes place in 1974.
Oh yeah,
So because so basically this is a prequel to Gareth Edwards' Godzilla,
mm-hmm,
right? And they're tied together by the company Monarch.
right.
Um, so anyway, so my one gripe of this movie is that I'm not going to see Tom Hiddleston in the next movie. It's like one and done unless they put him in like old people makeup.
Yeah,
Because I really liked him in this movie, and it's
yeah.
really sucked that it's 1974. So I'm guessing the next movie will take place in 2018
Present
when
time.
the
Yeah.
rest of the well, I don't want to spoil it too much. We'll get to the end credit scene later.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But the next movie that's going to take place, like that's my gripe. My one big gripe about this movie is that it took place in '74, and we won't get to see those characters later on.
I thought about that too. I'm sitting here watching the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is like right after Vietnam, um, and I was like, well, the next movie's got to take place in present time, so none of these people are going to be in it, and that bums me out because even like at the very end, at the end credits, they show Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson's character. Um, what did you think? I mean, Brie Larson's now an Oscar winner. Felt like this was almost like a cash grab for her. It really wasn't a whole lot for her to do, and she had
No,
one of the weird one of the like most bullshit things. Like she shot a flare from really far away, and it went inside the lizard's head, and I was like, man, not even like fucking Hawkeye could have shot that. I was like, that was. I mean,
well,
who could control
maybe
a
not
flare?
Hawkeye, but maybe not Hawkeye, but Captain Marvel could.
Yeah, that's a
So,
precursor. Yeah. No shit.
yeah, she didn't have a lot to do, but she's such a good actress that she handled what she needed to do in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of good moments in there where she's crying for Kong or whatever, and that felt pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
and luckily they never went into the cheesy, like Kong is jealous of Tom Hiddleston like they did in the King
Oh
Kong
yeah, like
Peter Jackson version.
Kong's fallen in love with her. Yeah.
I never understood that shit. Like I don't think it's like love, like sexual love, but I
No.
was like thinking like If it is, it's like Kong. There's logistical problems with
It's like
this.
having a puppy or something like that.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But like, they never go into that territory here, and what you're saying about Peter Jackson earlier is like, I got tired of fucking watching Kong climb a building and get killed, and because that story's basically been done 3 times now.
Yep.
It's been told once and retold twice, and I don't need to see it anymore. And this one stayed away from it, which I'm happy it did. Um, fuck.
It
Let me
had
think.
it, it
Yeah,
had
it stayed away from it.
it had some like not callbacks, but like what do you call that when they just some homages, you know?
Homage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, she falls in the water and he scoops her up, and
That was okay. So,
that
what
sequence
was
was a
your
little
favorite part?
nuts. My favorite part in the whole movie, um,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't. I mean, the part where Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson are standing on that cliffside and they're just kind of looking out into the fog, and he just comes out of the fog and steps like walks right up to them, and I was like, holy shit, you know. And then they all have that moment, together.
Yeah, yeah.
I that was like my favorite part. I like. I mean, the action sequences are what they are, but I like when they humanize things and they kind of show like that ape has some sort of like um, not conscience, but like it's a living, breathing thing. It's not just this monster that's running around killing things. It's trying to protect that island and the people on the island. And
How
once,
awesome was it when How awesome was it when John C. Riley said that Kong isn't even fully grown yet? I was
oh
like, oh my god, this is gonna be
yeah, I
fucking
was like, are
awesome.
you fucking kidding me? Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be awesome when he fights Godzilla. He's gonna be fucking 3 times the size.
yeah. I mean, my gosh. So the one thing I was worried about going into the movie was all the CGI work and all
Oh
that
wait, wait,
stuff.
wait,
But
wait. Hold on. My favorite scene.
oh
My
yeah,
favorite
yeah. Go
scene.
ahead.
I forgot. My favorite scene was towards the end when she fell into the water and Kong picked her up,
Hmm.
and then the fucking giant lizard thing wasn't dead, and it basically swallowed Kong's hand whole and
Oh,
fucking ripped the tongue and the intestines like out through its mouth.
that
Oh, that was
that
fucking
that was
awesome.
pretty sick. Yeah, I kept
I
thinking.
mean, you saw it in a regular theater. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and it was fucking sweet.
I kept thinking, oh my god, she's dead. There's no way he's like squishing her right now in his hand. But you just have to kind of
Yeah.
suspend disbelief or whatever. But yeah, no, that was pretty cool because that was a battle and a half, man. He fought they because John C. Riley's hinted he's like, oh, the bigger one that killed like it killed his
His
parents
parents.
essentially. So you're like, oh shit, that thing's got to be a beast, and it was. I mean, it was a fight to the I mean, big time to the death. It was crazy. Um, but
It's a
yeah,
lot more fun watching Kong fight than it was Godzilla fight.
yeah, it was. You're right. It was.
Plus, Godzilla needs to lose some weight if he stands a chance against Kong.
He's a little slow.
Well, I mean, they made him like they made Godzilla like really fat. Like I rewatched it like 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
the Edwards one, and I was like, man, he's really fat in this. I've never seen him this fat. And like I don't want him like super thin like in the Broderick version, where he's like basically an iguana. Like I don't want that Godzilla, but
No.
like I want something a little bit smaller than the Gareth Edwards one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's hints all over this movie that that's going to happen. I mean, the first hint was they go into that village and all those people are there, and John C. Riley's there, and he takes them
No, it
into.
was way before that. It was way before that.
Oh, really? What was
Yeah,
the?
it's basically right after the young John C. Riley scene, when they mentioned that they're from Monarch. That was the first clue
Oh,
that the
right, right.
universes were tied
Yeah,
together.
that ties everything together. So when they go into the temple, the main temple, there I loved how they did that too. They made all the rocks kind of jut out a little bit, and they had color or some
Yeah.
sort of color. And then when the camera moved in front of it, it made a picture, and it showed all, I think, all the different monsters, and
Hmm.
that was really cool. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Um, so you know that's gonna pop up. But What did you think of like they did a really good job, I thought, on the CGI. There was rarely ever a time where I was like, that looks fake. It was pretty well done, as far as I could see. And I think a lot of that has to do
Yeah.
with them putting it in that environment, not in like in a New York City or something like that, where it could
Hmm.
easily look kind of fake. But in the jungle setting, I mean, anytime that they panned
So
away and they showed Kong in his full body, I was like, holy shit. I mean, you can see the muscle structure and he's like, I mean, he's just like walking around, just roaming around the
so
island.
you know what's crazy is that this movie is only $30 million more, like budget wise, than Godzilla.
That is,
And
yeah, that's crazy.
I'm trying to find the production value that Kong gives you versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like where the fuck did that money go? Because there's a lot more well-known actors in Kong than there was in Godzilla. Like Bryan Cranston was the only one,
Well,
you know,
and
and then
he
you had
doesn't command,
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
he doesn't command big money though either. So, I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't
Like where
know.
the fuck did that money go?
All the
I mean,
maybe
it.
the actors,
If you looked at Kong, I was like, okay, yeah, that's $190 million movie, right?
hmm
But then like Godzilla's 160 million. I'm like, where the fuck did that money go to?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe
how? Where
I
the
I would
fuck?
I would have to think that a lot of that environment was probably CGI too, just like how Jungle Book was. But
Right?
um,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, I think it was filmed in Hawaii, wasn't it? Some of it was filmed in Hawaii.
I'm not
I have
sure.
to look that up.
Not sure.
But a lot of
But
that,
seriously, only $30 million apart.
oh man, I don't know. I think you know, you and I were just kind of talking about this the other day. Like, why don't they like you know, you could take a lot of these big properties, and if you just dial back the budget like they did on Logan, they made a really like good intimate type, movie that was like gritty
Well,
and
that's a little
really
bit
cool.
difficult with giant monsters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess you
I
could.
mean, but I think that's why I'm so shocked at the high budget of Godzilla, because I thought that was a lower budget version
Yeah, and
of
it wasn't.
Godzilla,
Yeah,
because
it
you
wasn't.
barely see Godzilla. You barely see Godzilla in the movie, as like unlike in this movie where you see Kong like for a lot of this movie and
Yeah,
doing a lot of awesome shit.
I see what you're saying.
So that's why I was so shocked. Like I
You're
can't
more
believe.
shocked at the budget of Godzilla. I thought you were more shocked at the King Kong. But yeah, you're right.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
a lot of I
Like where the hell is the money going in that movie?
well, because I think it's because on the mainland, it's on the mainland. I mean, when you do it in a jungle
Maybe,
or in
but some of that
space
was
or
CG though.
yeah, I mean, you could do all sorts of things. I you know, I think that they really um use the money pretty wisely, I think, in this movie. But I mean, because the effects are just crazy. I mean, you really think that that fucking gorilla exists? You're like, shit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really good.
Um,
They did a phenomenal job in this movie.
yeah, they did a really good job making Kong, sympathetic and yet of course angry when things were happening to his island. He was getting pissed, and
So let's skip to the end credit scene because I keep wanting to say something. So let's skip to the end. Let's skip to the end credit scene so I can talk about the shit I want
Okay,
to talk about.
so right before the end credits, so everybody, like about half the people die. I think the nerdy guy and the nerdy girl, who were really cool. I like them a lot too. Usually the secondary
Yeah.
characters I don't care about, but I really like them. And then let's see, John Goodman died, so John C. Riley ends up living. I love his story because he wanted to go home so badly and see his wife and kid, but of course by that time they're all grown up and he's worried that she already moved on and all that stuff. I love that sequence. Um, Sam Jackson, of course, he dies. He ends up being the antagonist, but
He's literally the token military guy in
he
this
is a
movie.
token military guy. But at the same time, like I thought, you know what? His argument is fairly legitimate as far as like, oh, you this thing killed all my men. I'm pissed. I want to kill it.
Yeah, yeah,
A little over the top, but
but but it's a lot different. Like I would be more um, willing to fight alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger to fight the Predator in the jungle because there might be a chance that you like actually win, like just maybe like the predator slips on a rock or something. But
Right.
there is nothing on that island that they have that is going to kill Kong.
They
Like
tried.
there's just
They
nothing.
tried. They
You
brought him
know,
down, but he
at
just
least
got
with
right
like,
back up.
I mean, the alien's like what, like 6'6" or something like that, 7 feet tall. I'm sorry, the predator,
Yeah.
and like even like maybe you could like cut him, or like if you bit him, maybe you leave your bite mark on him and you did some damage. There is nothing those guys could do to Kong. There's like
No.
nothing.
It was a little far fetched. You were like, what is this guy possibly going to do? And he's like, oh, throw fire in the water.
And that
Yeah,
was
that'll
like,
do it.
yeah, that was that was that's what you were gonna do. Burn them. Burn them. You're just gonna piss them off even more.
Yeah. Why didn't
Like you don't have enough fire. You don't have enough
Yeah.
fire.
Why didn't they just get like one of those squid things and just fill it full of poison? I mean, you could have killed it like that. That would have been better than trying to
You were
burn
better
it.
off climbing on. You were better off climbing on top of the mountain and trying to drop one of those tankers in Kong's eye, because like it was not
Hey,
gonna happen.
Bree could have just shot him in the eye with a flare gun. She's a crack shot, shot him in the butthole.
But that's
or
not gonna kill him.
something. No,
That's
I love how
not
you
gonna
said a
kill
second
him.
ago. You're like, there wasn't enough fire.
What's that?
There's not enough fire in the world to burn this big ape.
Not on that island. Would they have like 2 tanks, like 2 drum barrels?
I don't know.
It's a fucking 60-foot gorilla, and you got 2 barrels of like, you got 2 barrels of napalm, and you think you're gonna fucking beat
Yeah,
this
that
guy.
got like
Actually, you know
saturated
what?
in a lake.
So what's really funny, right, is the most damaging like weapons that they actually have. That's what they use to attract him,
Yes.
and then they just set the lake on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, what's your backup plan?
Yeah. Let's set.
Because if he
let's-
doesn't die from this fire, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Because like again in the in Predator, right? Like nothing goes right for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what ends up like really beating the fucking Predator? A fucking log. So you're
Yep.
gonna pick up a log against Kong, and like, what's that gonna do?
There wasn't enough fire. Yeah.
It's like there's no, and the guys, the army guys around him are like, we got to do what the captain says or whatever. But part of being in the army too is like when you're doing something that's gonna like cause everybody to die, you shouldn't do it.
Right.
And fighting a 60-foot gorilla is probably on that list of shit you shouldn't do. When all you have is 2 drum barrels of napalm and like, M16 machine guns, like against a 60-foot gorilla
Yeah.
that literally like played catch with your helicopters in the air.
They literally just
Like
should
caught
have,
one helicopter and threw it into the other. And you're gonna burn him.
Yeah, it was not a very good plan by any stretch of the means. I mean, if bullets aren't going to
And
work,
then like Sam Jackson's like Sam Jackson's got like the crazy eyes looking down like King Kong, and it's like, all right, I'll give you, if anybody's got crazy eyes to stare down King Kong, it's going to be Sam Jackson. But again, 60-foot gorilla.
I wanted him to say so
Like-
bad, get this motherfucking monkey off this motherfucking island. But he does.
Oh, so remember when he was giving his speech?
He
Remember
pays
when
an
he was giving his
homage to
speech by the
Jurassic
water?
Park. He pays an homage to
No,
Jurassic
no, no. When he
Park.
was given did you ever see Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah. He gave
So
an
when
homage
he's by
to
the
that
water
too.
giving that speech,
Mm-hmm.
when he's giving the speech about how he wants to kill like Kong or whatever, I'm like, oh my god, is something gonna jump out of the water and kill him right now? Like they did in
That
Deep
would have
Blue
been
Sea?
awesome.
Yeah, it would have been so fucking
Like
funny.
Kong's hand just comes out and grabs. Yeah, like the squid jumps out and grabs him.
This movie is actually more serious than Deep Blue Sea is.
Yes.
So that's probably why they didn't
That
do
was
it that way.
shocking, though. I remember that scene. I was like, "What the fuck?" No,
It was so fake too when you watch it again.
I know
It's
it's
so
pretty bad. It's so bad CG. But like he
Yeah.
says, "Hold on to your butts," and I was like, "Ah, yeah." He said that in Jurassic Park. So that was
Oh,
kinda,
that's right.
That was kind of
That's
funny.
right. Yeah.
But no, I was
All right. So the end credits and
Oh yeah.
end credits.
So
scene,
all
we can
that
talk
to
about
get to the
some
end
good stuff.
credits. So that's and the one thing that really kind of ticked me off is that they showed the monsters' names in the credits. That was
Yeah,
really
I
shitty.
caught that.
But I never would have saw that. Like I wasn't even looking at the screen when that was rolling up, and somebody behind me, like one of the two or three people that stayed in the theater, because everyone else left. They're not thinking, oh, this is like Marvel. There's post credits. They just everyone bailed. So these three guys behind me are like, holy shit, like these, and they started naming all the monsters off, and I was like, what the fuck? And I look at the screen, and I'm like, oh my god, they like totally gave that away before the end credits gave it away. I'm like, that's shitty. So
Yeah,
anyway, so what do we see? We see uh, Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston in like in a room, like an
interrogation room.
interrogation room, and then oh shit, what happens? Like, does someone walk in the room?
So
The nerdy guy.
they think like they're being questioned. They're being questioned,
Yeah.
and nobody's saying shit to them. And then the nerdy guy and the nerdy girl come in and let them know that like, you know, Kong, like we don't own this world. These gods do, and Kong was just the beginning. And they start showing a slideshow,
Oh, that's right. Of all the
and
different
it's
monsters.
fucking right. And the first slide is Godzilla.
Yes.
Then the second side is one of the other sides is
Mothra
uh, Rodan, then Mothra,
and then Ghidorah.
then King. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god! Even though I got spoiled too by by the credits themselves, it was still fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then it goes to black, right? It
Yep.
goes to black. Well, actually, they show the final painting is all four of those monsters fighting each other.
Yes. That was fucking
Kong,
awesome.
Mothra, Rodan, and then it goes to black, and then you hear Kong scream, like do his like gorilla roar, and then laid on top of that is Godzilla's roar, and
Yes.
I fucking
Yeah.
yeah, I fucking lost it there. I
That
was like, oh,
was
that's fucking awesome.
that was pretty sick.
I I I got as giddy as I did in Batman Begins when he flips the card over and it's the Joker.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. No, they did that. They did that really, really cool. Yeah,
So I want to know,
super
like,
excited. But
okay, so
what's the
Godzilla was
timeline
good.
though? What's the
I have
timeline
no
going to
idea.
be? Is it going to be? I mean, does
I
it
have no
have to
idea.
be? Listen, does it have to be after Gareth Edwards Godzilla? Does it have to
It
be,
has to be.
or does
Yeah, it has to be because
why
that's the
though?
first time like mainstream had actually seen Godzilla. Well, because if you had like six giant monsters fighting each other, it'd probably be in the history books, and they wouldn't be surprised about Godzilla in uh uh in the Godzilla
So is it
version,
going
the
to
Gareth
happen on?
Edwards version.
It's going to happen on the mainland then?
I don't know.
Like that's
I
what
have
I'm
no
trying to
idea.
figure out. Like,
But here's what I'm trying to figure out too, because like okay, so if you're not a big nerd like we are, there's two different types of Godzilla,
yep,
right? There's the good Godzilla that protects Earth from like King Ghidorah. Uh, what's his name? The
Ghidorah,
three-headed one.
Ghidorah.
Yeah. Uh, he's an evil like monster. So in those movies, Godzilla protects the Earth,
Hmm.
right? And then there's other movies where Godzilla's the bad guy, where he's solo, he's the bad guy, and then when he fights like somebody like Mothra, Mothra's always good no matter what.
Hmm.
So then you have the evil Godzilla. Well, in the Edwards version, they tell you like he's the protector, like he goes out and sets things right when these monsters pop up.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good Godzilla. I'm okay with that. In this Kong Skull Island, it's like okay, well this King Kong is the good one too, because there were two I think two movies for Godzilla and King Kong were on the same screen.
Well,
They're both Japanese
so let's think about that.
ones.
Let's think about that. So I'm just throwing this out there. I have a feeling that the two of them are going to fight, but then there's going to be an even bigger threat that comes along that they have to work together to
Right.
fight against. That's kind of like my theory
So
behind that.
so I was thinking the same thing, and at the same time, God damn it, fuck, I didn't want to do this. So there's another movie out there where two main characters fight each other, right?
Hmm.
That I'm not going to mention. They didn't do a good job of that because they teamed up to fight like a bigger thing.
Right.
I have a feeling this one, if they do it like they did in this one, that it's going to be fucking awesome. Because like I was thinking that on the walk back, like all the shit that they were showing.
Hmm.
I was like, I think Godzilla and King Kong are going to go at it in like the first half of the movie, and then something worse happens. and they're gonna fight like Rodan and all that other shit. Mothra's gonna be in there somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's too many creatures to like. I guess have them all fight in the next. What's the next one called? Is it the God of Monsters? Something
I
like
don't
that.
know, or I think it's King of Monsters, isn't
King of
it?
Something like that. Man, I should probably look that up. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But
Because we never prepare.
no, never. We just go for it. Um, yeah, it was a really good crazy ending that just like sets up this like whole world or this whole like universe that's about to happen and
Yeah, it's that shared universe I hate, or extended universe that everybody keeps stealing from Marvel. But this was done pretty well. I gotta say, this is done pretty well.
yeah, and
From
it's
the
supposed
subtlety, from the subtlety to tie to Godzilla, not just giving an end credit scene, but to just say subtly like we're from Monarch. And then if you'd seen the Gareth Edwards version of it, you knew that that was a company that was in that movie. So that subtly tied it to Godzilla, and then nothing for the rest of the movie.
yeah. Okay, so I just looked it up and this is interesting. So if this is the way it's going to go, there's going to be a sequel to Godzilla called King of the Monsters. It's called Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I think it will feature one or maybe two of those monsters that you talked about. And then Godzilla versus Kong, that's set for a year later in 2020. And that's where I think you and I are kind of thinking they might fight against each other and then a bigger threat, like probably Ghidorah, I'd imagine, because he's like the Thanos of the Godzilla universe. Um, that might be the main baddie in that one. So I guess they're doing two two movies, and they're only so that's interesting. So yeah, I guess there's a sequel to both, or and then the ultimate one, I guess. So that makes me excited. I thought there was only going to be one monster movie, but I guess there's two. So that'll probably the whole universe will probably be all set up in those three movies, and whether what goes beyond that, who knows? But and then we're getting a Pacific Rim 2, which deal with the kaiju, so we're gonna get that.
which which is what happens when you don't do giant monster movies correctly. Is the first one, which is really boring, and you don't give a shit about the human
It's
characters
all in the dark too.
at all.
It's all in the dark. Like this movie was all in
Yeah,
the light. Like most of it was daytime, and it was still
yeah.
scary and fucking
Godzilla's
awesome.
Godzilla's main fight was in the dark too.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just like it's less CG work or something when it's darker. I don't know, but I like the daytime shit that they did, and it was still creepy. I mean, that when they were in the graveyard running around, that was fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
or how about
So let's go into. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh well, I was gonna say one more thing. There, you were talking about there's some jump scares. Well, one of them that really freaked me the hell out was in there walking along in those bamboo forests or whatever, and then that bamboo
Oh my
goes
god,
right through that guy's mouth, and you're like, "What just happened?" And they look up, and there's like a big spider walking around. That scared the
that
shit out of
creeped me
me.
out even.
Yeah,
That creeped me out even more because I fucking hate spiders, and I
yeah,
just picture because I was in IMAX. Again, I was in IMAX in 3D, so like it's like right in your face. I'm like, I'm getting chills like down my spine
yeah.
thinking about it
I
now.
did
'Cause I
not like
fucking
that.
hate spiders.
They started cutting his legs
Yeah, it was
off. I
fucking
was like,
gross. Yeah,
that was fucked up. Okay, so you were talking. Let's go into our ratings.
yeah. Diversity first.
Yeah,
You want
diversity
me to
first.
go for
This
this
time
one first?
you're going first. Yep.
All right. So my diversity for this one is I'm gonna borrow a little bit from what you did in the last episode, Logan. But this time I'm gonna go Jan Brady plus
Mm.
and plethora negative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other than the main characters of Hiddleston and Larson and Riley, outside like they're all white, get it. One's a woman, great. But there was diversity behind it all,
Mm-hmm.
lots and lots of it because of where they took place. So that's my diversity rating. What about you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The cast was pretty diverse. A lot of the secondary characters were diverse, and then of course the tribe and and all that stuff. Uh, but yeah, I'd have to give it a Jan Brady plus or a plethora negative. And if any of you guys have listened to our podcast before, our diversity ratings are, like if it's very diverse, it's plethora of diversity. If it's middle of the road, we say Jan Brady because she was the middle sister of Brady Bunch. And then of course there's Casper, where there's no diversity whatsoever. And diversity includes all sorts of things, not just race, but gender and all that good stuff. So yeah, I would have to give it a Jan Brady plus, which we just added to our feature last week on Logan. So yeah,
What's
definitely.
your chainsaw rating?
My overall rating, I would probably
Yeah,
have to
your
give
chainsaw
it.
rating.
I'd probably give it 3.5 lightsabers. Oh, chainsaws! Damn it, I always do that. I'm the chainsaw guy.
It's been over a year, man.
I
It's
know.
been over a year.
Yeah, I know. But I'm
Uh,
definitely, I'm 3.5 chainsaws for me.
I think I would probably go like 3.75 lightsabers, like really close to 4. Probably more of a 4, like when I see it a second time, because I really enjoyed this movie. And again, the best thing about this movie is that they actually made you care about the human characters,
Mm,
which in 99.9% of monster movies like this, you're not gonna give a shit at all.
yeah.
So, um, it, it's I would say the Rotten Tomatoes rating is pretty close to my rating. I think it's at 79 right now. That's probably about like I would probably be pushing into the 80s.
I think so. I think it
But
deserved that. I think just entertaining alone, it was very entertaining. I mean, I have to give it that. It was definitely, a monster movie, and that's what I wanted. It wasn't cheesy, you know. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think maybe in subsequent viewings I might even love it, but like, I didn't have the IMAX theater or the IMAX experience, which I know in a movie like this really, really adds to it, um, to the
how about the
presentation, all that.
blatant commercial in this movie too?
Yeah, that's true.
For Budweiser, like the blatant like I want a nice was Riley say he wants a nice hot dog and a
Yeah,
nice Budweiser on opening day, and I'm
yes.
like, okay, that's major product placement right there.
But the funny thing is
It's
he
like,
he gets it at the end. He's sitting in the couch
yeah,
and
yeah, he
he's
does get it
and
in.
he's eating it and having a beer. And I had this big smile on my face. I'm like, yeah, probably got what he wanted. Like that's awesome. His wife
This
is
episode
yeah.
of Chew on This is brought to you by Budweiser. Because when you're stuck on an island and there's a 60-foot gorilla, you want to drink a Budweiser.
You deserve a Budweiser.
Yeah, you deserve a Budweiser when there's fucking gross ass goddamn spiders in the trees and shit like that. That's oh my god. I'm getting creeped out again because I just remembered the part where he almost got eaten
Oh yeah.
because the spider opened its mouth. Oh fuck! I saw it on IMAX too, and it's even
I
worse.
forgot about that. The spider almost got him. Yeah, it was fucked up. And all the goop like landed on him and shit. That was gross.
Oh god, so
They did a
disgusting.
they did a really good. I mean, compared to like Peter Jackson's King Kong, where all the creatures are running around, I didn't like any of the creatures in that movie, and plus a lot of them looked really fake, except for that like
The
meat
Brontos,
that the
the
maggot
Stampede
looking
was
thing,
terrible.
the maggot looking creatures like that ate
Oh yeah,
Andy
yeah, yeah.
Circus. That freaked me out, but this movie had way more freak out moments. I mean, even the squid, like when you see it pop out of the water way in the back, you're like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. And then, ends up being this like massive squid and it was creepy.
Yeah, that's a great like scene right there because it's like it's straight out of a horror movie. You're like, oh shit, something moved in the water. This guy's fucking dead, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen the way you think it's gonna happen because instead of attacking the guy, fucking here comes Kong. And it gets even better than that. It's
And
even
it
better
thinks
than that.
it thinks it can take him down and Sam Jackson's like, I'm gonna kill you with fire. Like, yeah. A
Yeah.
fucking squid like that's like 3 times his size couldn't take him down. That's
The squid would not even get burned by your fire. Like and Kong ate that squid.
Yeah, all Kong would have really had to do is just splash the water, and I think the fire would have gone right out. It wouldn't have been a big deal. So,
He
yeah,
did splash the water. He splashed it back on him.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Stupid.
right. So I don't know if you're gonna defeat Kong, you need to defeat him from within. You know, which
Like nobody sat there and was like, "Look, Captain, this is a 60-foot gorilla. You want to just burn him, right? Like there's no explosives while he's being burned, right? When his fur catches on
He's
fire,
like, no, no, no.
we're gonna use all those explosives in the background to just get his attention.
That's what we're going to
Like, do
use
we have to
all
set-
these explosions for, is to get his attention. Exactly.
Do we have to use all of them? Can't we just use like 2 and just like, keep the others? Because I don't think this lake of fire is gonna cut it, Captain. I mean, they used every single explosive they had just to get his
You see
attention.
Kong, he's like, ooh, jacuzzi. He's like, oh, this is like nice and warm.
Yeah, it's warm. It's always fucking cold.
He's like, I itch a little bit. But yeah, nice.
Because I know if I knew I was in that like huddle and I heard like Sam Jackson's plan to kill a 60-foot gorilla that I've never seen before in my life, take down an entire chopper unit, I'd be like, I don't want to. I don't want to shit on your parade there, Captain, but I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah,
I think we're going to fucking die.
This is not a good idea.
This is not a good idea.
You're gonna get, yeah, you're gonna have to die. All right.
The more I think about it, the dumber it is. Like,
it's like I just
because
love
at
to
least
see
with
the next movie.
Arnold
they're like, hey,
Schwarzenegger,
I just love to see the next movie. You see all the monsters, and they're like, "Hey, anyone got a lighter?" And the guy's like, "You fucking idiot! Like, we already tried that. Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that." Anyway,
even Arnold Schwarzenegger like did an entire jungle like maze for this fucking predator, right? And he barely beat him, and he finally beat him with a log, like just by chance that he set up a booby trap at the end.
Which
There
is
is no booby trap that you could set for Kong. Like you can't dig a hole deep enough with the 6 of you
you can't get
in that time frame.
you can't get a log big enough to swing across the air and hit him in the head either. Like, fucking Home
No,
Alone.
he actually picked up a tree and threw it through your helicopter. That's the shit you're dealing with, and you want to fucking set the lake on fire. That's gonna kill him. Like that's just stupid.
I know. How are you gonna kill the big ape like that? Oh man. Well, Sam Jackson is not the brightest guy
In this movie.
on Kong Island or in this movie. No. But well, thankfully he didn't kill him because he's coming back and he's going to be badder than ever, and we'll get to see him bigger, which I couldn't quite like grasp. I was like, "What? He's not fully grown? He's like a fucking teenager? You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah,
But it's
Kong's just a teenager. He's not even like hit peak yet.
oh my god, he's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
that's
Kong's
crazy.
in puberty. Like, there's the lipstick. We need to get out of here." Burn it with fire. No. All right. Well, that was end on the burning the dick note. All right. Well, that was episode 71 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic,
Until next week, folks, chew on that.
later.